Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Transition Tuesday webinar. I am very excited to have Brody White here with us because this is one of our first interviews we've done where we got a Ranger that we helped in transition down here at beautiful Fort Benning, Georgia, actually coming on to tell his story. Brody, you've been doing a million things. I'm trying to keep track of what you're doing. You're not in jail yet. That's a positive. We're very happy about that. But you're going 100 miles an hour. Thanks for taking time to be on with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Tony. It's awesome to just be here chatting with you.
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate you taking the time. And this can feel awkward, right? Like young man, right? trying to pass on his advice to other Rangers. But the reason you're on specifically, Brody, is one, you've stayed connected to the network, which is awesome. But I think we were talking to each other now over 18 months ago, maybe 2 years when you came in for your initial transition counseling. Now you're back home in the Pittsburgh area and you're doing a ton of things. Run down for the audience kind of what you've been up to since your transition.
So since I transitioned out, I ended up getting first my real estate license, ended up helping to relocate a Purple Heart veteran and his family, who's actually one of my very good friends, back to the Pittsburgh area, which was really cool. And then also started up a little barbecue business.
So real estate license, barbecue business, and you're active in the community. When you originally came, right, you were talking about getting out, possibly starting the business. What were some of those steps you took in transition to get you where you have a business, you have your real estate license now?
So one of the biggest steps to kind of like help funnel me into that end result was honestly like coming and talking to you and just spitballing all the different ideas, seeing what's out there, which really helped a lot. Because I think our first meeting, I came in with wanting to do like the businesses and stuff like this, but also wanting to maybe go to college and be a firefighter. So you connected me to all those different mentors and I chatted with them and stuff like that. And then I ended up at one of the Ranger for Life symposiums coming across the Clark Initiative, which you guys had welcomed them in and they had a little booth set up in the corner. And I went over, started talking to them and got involved with them and found out what they are. And their whole thing is they're a 501c3, a nonprofit, to excel, empower, and educate veterans to become entrepreneurs. And the curriculum that they put out and like the guidance and the mentorship that they do for us is awesome. A part of that, as well as like everything and staying connected to 3 Rangers and Gallant Few. So yeah, it's been
all right. So I want to dive into TCI, but I want to go back. So yes, you wanted to do everything.
Yeah.
Like I heard, I'm a firefighter. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to be in the boxing gym, like all these things, right? And so because of that, initially you actually looked at extending, but the Clark Initiative was the reason I feel like really that guidance that you received to go ahead and go forward with your plans.
Yeah, it definitely was. And talking to Chris Warnes, who's the founder and some of the members of the board, and then consulting with you and Carl also definitely helped guide me into that decision to just extending is always a good option, but it wasn't necessarily the right option for the time.
All right. So I like it. So what did you learn? What were your kind of like, if you had to summarize, not necessarily speak for TCI, but talk about truly what you learned about being a business owner through that experience?
To be honest, I'd say just persevere, dude. It's no different than a mission set or Ranger school. Like you're faced with so many different problem sets that's what the Clark Initiative taught me how to do. It related all of the skill sets that we get from the military, because Chris himself is a veteran, a combat vet, and a Purple Heart recipient as well. So he does a very good job of translating everything that we learn in the military and correlating it directly into running a business. Because now when you run a business and you start to gain a little bit of traction and you can scale and hire employees, well, now those employees are relying on you the same way that your privates are relying on you when you're a tab, or your tabs are relying on you when you're a team leader. And so far it goes up the chain.
So where did the idea for barbecue come from? I mean, for most people, like that's a passion, right? And it could be a passion of eating it, or it's a passion of making it, or both.
Oh yeah. So actually, when being down in Fort Benning, Georgia, there's barbecue places like there's McDonald's. So like going and trying all the different places every weekend with all of our buddies. And then eventually our platoon saved up Zin points, like those little pouches that everybody loves. We saved up all the codes from the Zin points. Our one buddy Meyer spearheaded it, threw them all together, bought a Traeger for the platoon, and that's where we learned how to barbecue.
That is awesome. So now what's the business look like? Like, are you out of a storefront location? Are you using a food truck? Like, how are you getting out in the community?
So right now we're like a pop-up. We're working and saving up for a trailer, and but we've got a couple of different locations that we're looking at throughout the city to really get ourselves a brick and mortar finally.
Do you have something about your barbecue that's different or unique, or is it like, is there a Pittsburgh style, like, or are you bringing a little bit of Georgia up to Pittsburgh? Like, what's that? What's your differentiator?
A little bit of both. Like, there's some piece. So we'll like bring the Southern barbecue up, like all the pickles, all the spices and the flavor and stuff like that. But then we'll put we do put a little like Pittsburgh spin on it. For example, everybody knows Southern sweet tea. Well, up here we've got Turner's, which is like a Pittsburgh staple. So anybody from Pittsburgh will appreciate that as soon as they see it. But yeah, we do like a nice little blend of Southern barbecue with the Pittsburgh culture.
I love it. So that's one of the things you do, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something that you're growing and you're working. And then tell me about real estate. Real estate kind of was always there as an idea for you. How did you close the deal from being a Ranger, getting ready to transition in your timeline to now where you have your real estate license and you're able to operate?
Yep. So right around when I came to see you, I think for a second time, and I actually brought a buddy with me, my roommate Gallup. We came in, sat down and saw you, and that's when I think I decided I wasn't going to extend. So I was telling you that I was looking at a couple of different real estate programs, and I came across Berkshire Hathaway's. They have something called the Real Heroes program, where if you're located in Pennsylvania or Ohio, they'll cover your whole first year, or they'll reimburse you for your whole first year of real estate fees up to $2,500, which is everything covered, your business cards, your marketing, all that stuff. And so when I was still in the barracks, right before I was about to come home from my CSP, I was doing the Zoom calls, doing the classes, taking the tests, getting myself squared away to take my actual real estate license test when I came home on my CSP. And then ended up doing my CSP with my boxing gym at Jack's Boxing Gym, fellow paratrooper as well from 88 to 92. So did my CSP at the boxing gym for like the small business, learning how to run the business and everything like that. And then once I got back to Pittsburgh as well for the CSP, took my real estate test, got up to speed. And then the timeline worked out beautifully where by the time I was finally ETS'd, I already had a client under contract with my real estate license on top of the LLCs filed for the barbecue. So,
I mean, it sounds like everything's just lining up.
Yeah.
But once again, you came almost 2 years before you got out. So you put this together. So let's go over this Real Heroes program again. So it's kind of niche, right? Only for Ohio and Pennsylvania. But is that application process, is that very tedious? Or is that something where they're going to take you if you have an interest, then you have to put the work in? What is it like at the user level?
Yeah. So anybody that shows an interest in the program, they'll take you on for the onboarding and stuff like that. But I would have to double check with them and confirm. But obviously you'd have to be local to the area and stuff like that. But I've also been talking to them and we're working to see if we could get it a nationwide program, because the beauty of that is we could have every service member getting their real estate licenses if they so pleased.
So from the time you applied to complete, what was that time period for your specific case?
For my specific case, I came home on a leave, actually, and that's where I sat down with the manager of the real estate office, Barb. And she kind of filled me in about the Real Heroes program, educated me about everything that it's about. And then I went back to Georgia, started the online classes, which there's 2 different modules. But for this one, there was one course. It took about I think in total it was about 72 hours worth of Zoom classes. You took your test, but it was overall timeline probably about 2 months.
2 months. So something very doable if somebody gets accepted that they could do in their last 6 months.
Oh yeah, very easy.
Perfect. Well, that's just good to know for planning. Now, when you also came, we went through the same big 5 we do with everybody. For your VA claim, who did you utilize for your VA claim? Because I believe you got that done using the benefits delivered at discharge process as well.
Mm-hmm. I used Jess with Wounded Warrior program.
All right. And overall, how was your satisfaction?
So satisfied. It was awesome and such a big stress reliever with everything else from the transition process.
And we only bring that up, one, because that's a shout out to Jess Root and John Bartow and the whole team at Wounded Warrior Project, who we love. If we had complaints, we wouldn't use them, right? So I wanted to put a face to this organization that does a ton for us, and that obviously provides some flexibility, right? Because you're a business owner, you now have healthcare, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability. It's people will look at it. Oh, there's a disability compensation component. Like, no, there's all the healthcare and all the other things that allow you some of this flexibility. Otherwise, you might have to look as another means of employment to cover some of those basics.
Yeah, and I even talking with some of my friends who got out at the same time that I did. Some of them didn't file for the BDD, and they were on the phone with me like, dude, I wish I did what you did. They regretted not doing it sooner. All
right, so talk to me. So now you got to help me solve this riddle. Because we want to help, and everybody, we're here to help. We're the government. We're here to help. So talk to me about what's the psyche with some of the guys who might be thinking, nah, I know other people use them, but I'm not going to do it. What is it can you give me the barracks level? Give me the ground truth with some folks now?
I'd say the barracks level, guys are just a little bit hesitant they don't want to be viewed with that stigma of abusing the system. So they're like, I don't need it. I'm healthy. I'm a stud right now. But guys who are 20 years down the line probably will tell you right now, fall for it, dude. You're an idiot if you don't.
I just had a Ranger in here today, and he's with his wife. And I was trying to explain, and she's going to go to nursing school, which is wonderful. She's going to use the Soft Funds VOTEC program to help fund that while he's in his next part of his federal law enforcement training. Great couple. But, when you fall from the sky at 18 miles per hour, right, a controlled descent with no wind, mind you, you fall from a distance higher than your head level, right? Do you know it's considered to be a traumatic event if you fall off a ladder because you're falling from higher than your height, if the ladder's higher than your height? And we do it as normal, and then we worry about, well, we don't want to report anything, right? But I think a good point in your case, Brody, is that, it's not the compensation does provide you the opportunity to do some things you might not otherwise do or might not be able to do at this stage of your life. But it's the healthcare benefits of the not knowing. So what's going to be next for you, Brody? Is it expanding the business? Is it expanding your brand? What are you spending your day-to-day time doing now?
Day-to-day time now is I got to be a little bit more patient with the barbecue because we're still waiting on getting the trailer and stuff. But we're saving up for that. But we're also working with a local film studio that's partnered very heavily with Carnegie Mellon University's film department. They're called Passage Studios, and they're also helping us do a little short series about, or a docu-series almost, of veteran transition, PTSD and TBI awareness, the difficulties that service members go through when they get out. They're highlighting the Run Ranger Run and all that stuff. So got some cool stuff for the brands going on with that. And then, just barbecue, boxing, and building the brands out.
Well, so I got a follow-up question to that one, buddy. So how many years in? 4 years in? 4 years and some months?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 years and some months, right? And you have the confidence, right, to represent the Ranger Regiment and veterans in transition. I think it's a very important thing. I think it's wonderful that we are advocates for our Ranger Regiment. What gives you the confidence to do something like that?
Honestly, the leaders like you and Chris and Carl and everybody else, and staying connected to the network that allows me to do that. Because, like, I mean, who am I to be able to do all these things? It's just a 23-year-old that was in for 4 years. But getting on here and talking to you and the calls with Carl and everything else, that's kind of what allows me to be able to do that.
Bro, that's awesome. That really warms my heart. The nut we were trying to crack for so long, right? We always make the SEAL references. How come? We'll say, oh, they do books and movies. That's horrible. But then secretly, we're like, we got great stories. Where are our books and movies, right? And yes, we're quite professionals. But what's come out of Ranger for Life that I see is we have a lot younger Rangers who feel that their time is valued regardless if they stayed in multiple enlistments or they said, like, we care. Like, what percentage of Americans signed up to even try to make it to Ranger Regiment? Like, it means something just by getting there and serving honorably. And you definitely did that, and you continue to serve. So, Brody, I want to thank you for taking time today. So I want to leave you with the final question, kind of your final thoughts. If you were talking to the guys in the barracks today, right, as they're contemplating get out, if they made that decision to get out, what would you leave them with? You got like 30 seconds, a minute with them to say, hey guys, just do this stuff. What would it be?
I'd say start early and do what you think is best for you. Consult all your boys and stuff like that, and consult their counsel. But yeah, start early and do what's best for you.
Well, I love that, because when you leave, it is you, right? Like, it is you, but you can always be connected to the network. Thank you for staying a Ranger for Life, Brody. I look forward to staying in contact with you. Good luck as you continue your 565-mile trek for Run Ranger Run. You're obviously, for the audience, you're a POC for Berkshire Hathaway. If anybody's interested in the Real Heroes program in both Pennsylvania and in Ohio, and if you find yourself around the Three Rivers area of Pittsburgh and you're looking for some chow, look up Brody White. Brody, thanks again for being on today.
Yep. Thank you, Tony. All
right, y'all, take care. We'll see you next month with another Transition Tuesday. Until then, Rangers, lead the way.